Hello and welcome to the GMIHub Online. Yes, today is our Songwriters Circle, and we're going to have some fun talking to some of the artists that are part of our compilation CD, which is now available on Bandcamp at gmihub.bandcamp.com. My name is Dale Boreland.
I'm Cheryl Dewick. It's so wonderful to have you join us today, and so wonderful to have these wonderful people with us as well. I just want to remind you that if you are tuning in right now, you are welcome to share this experience. We are actually, as Dale said, we're going to be meeting some songwriters here, and they're going to talk a lot about their music career. They're going to talk about their song and the history behind the song. And the reason why these are so important, because these are the songs that are on our album, the GMIHub Family Christmas album, which is available now. So feel free to share this experience, and if you haven't already, feel free to like and subscribe to this channel so you can be aware of all the different videos that are being put up on our channel every week, really. Right, so right. Let me introduce you to these wonderful, beautiful people that you are seeing. Well, you already know Dale, so we won't introduce him. But we have with us Stacey Little. Stacey Little is, actually I should ask, are you still a student of or a graduate of?
I'm still a student.
Still a student at Canada Christian College?
Yes.
Okay, she's still a student, and she has submitted a song that keeps everyone dancing, but I'm not going to say any more about that. You're going to hear more about that. And no stranger to our screen, Michelle Sim. She is such a delight to be with, and I'm so glad she's able to join us tonight to talk about her song called It's Christmas. Yeah. So welcome, Michelle.
Thank you, Cheryl.
So let's get started. Let's start with you, Stacey. Sorry, I'm just adjusting my hearing here. Stacey, tell us a little about yourself. You are fresh and new for us, but yes, we'd love to learn more about you. What is your story? Tell me how you got into music. Tell us your story.
Okay, so hi again, GMIHub. It is really, I just want to thank you guys for being a part of this, and I am really excited. It's always good that musicians and singers can come together and just, mesh well and do what we love. So I'm so grateful, and I congratulate you on this this initiative. It's a good one. All right, so keep up the good work. So, Stacey Little, who is Stacey Little? I can start off with this. I am not that little, right? I get that all the time, so it's a good icebreaker. I'm not that little, but my name is Stacey Simone Little, and I am from the island of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And this is in the Caribbean between St. Lucia and Barbados, but we are an island of like 32 other small islands, and we have a rich culture there in St. Vincent. And I have been singing, it might sound cliche, but from the age of 5, this is where my family discovered that I can sing. And so I started to sing, grew up in church, singing for God. And then eventually, God just did the works where where I started to sing somewhere, and somebody heard me, and somebody referred me, and so forth and so forth. That's how I got started singing in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. But officially, when I was in college back home, I sang for graduation, and this is where a gentleman who saw me there, and he gave me a lead part in a song, my graduation song. And from then on, he invited me to be a part of a band. And it was my first official big stage where I was now going on national stages in St. Vincent. And then eventually, over time, I launched my debut single in 2016. And from there, I won 2 awards for that single. In 2017, I was dubbed SVG's Best Gospel Artist in 2017. And from then on, I concentrated more on projects that I am working with, because I'm building my ministry where where it is called Stacey Little Ministries Music Mentorship and Missions. I started a youth program in St. Vincent called Yell, Youths Everywhere Living for the Lord, where I mentor young musicians and singers and everyone who is artistic. And so we are like in my country, we're the #1 youth band in our country as well. And also I started another program called Little Voices, Big Dreams. It's a vocal training program for kids, just so that I can help children to pull that gift out of them. And so I've been doing my thing, and now I'm here in Canada to study, to better myself as a musician, because I think I have the singing part down pat, but I want to be someone who will be able to play and sing. I want to play the guitar, I want to play the keyboards, I want to play the harp, I want to play everything, before it's too late. But that's what I'm concentrating on right now. I'm doing a bachelor's of sacred music at Canada Christian College, soon to be Canada Christian University. Praise God.
Yeah.
So I am here concentrating, sharpening that gift that God has given me. Basically, that's my story in a nutshell.
Wow.
So, Stacey, you touched on something though, Stacey, I thought was really interesting. You were working on children's choir. Did you actually like conduct the choir?
Yes, I am a part of the churches. I don't know if you know the New Testament churches, because we have a lot of branches in the entire world. And I also would lead the national choir for national convention as well. But the Little Voices is actually just individual children within my community. I wanted to give back to my community. So children within the community of where I grew up, those who are interested in singing, music, performing, whatever it is, I formulated a program where it was hosted at a community center, right, through the government. So I was assisted by the government to at least get the space to use where, for instance, there was this one student, she had serious panic attacks when she was going on stage. You know how it is for us as performers, but this was really, really terrible. By the end of the program, she was singing "Somewhere Over the Rainbow." You understand? Before her parents and her family, with whatever I taught her and whatever I learned over the years. So it was not necessarily a choir per se, but I've always been in charge of choirs, youth groups for over 10 years in my local assembly back home, and national choirs. I've always been singing with mass choirs and so forth back home, and different groups and so forth. But this was more of an individual to build an individual child who has that dream of singing.
So it sounds like you're being a mentor, and then to the GMIHub, that is one of the core values that we just really appreciate so much. Cheryl also has conducted choirs of children's choirs, so there's a little bit of a common sense here, which is kind of neat.
I was just about to say, I was like, Stacey, it's like you're my sister from another country.
God has his people. God has his people.
That's right. No, seriously.
Yeah.
I love this. Like, I love the fact that you want to mentor the youth. I love the fact that you want to mentor children, especially no one is too young to learn to sing. No one's too young to have that ability to even be on stage. I mean, our son, or my husband and I, we have a son. When he was 4 years old, he would go on a stage just to help with my husband who's in sound and audio and visual for events. And my little 4-year-old boy would go up on the stage, and they gave him a microphone, so he was helping with sound check, and he would sit there and he would sing at the top of his little lungs, and then he'd turn to his daddy and say, "So, Daddy, when are the people coming? Like, when are they coming to hear me sing?"
He was ready to perform. He just wanted to perform.
Yes.
So maybe we can talk a little bit about Stacey's song.
Yes.
So you want to know about Sweet Carolyn? Okay.
Yeah. So what's the story behind that song?
Now, in my local assembly, being a youth leader for over 10 years, we would have our yearly activities, Christmas activities, and also Youth Week activities. And there would be themes that we would have to come up with, and national convention. And I would usually write a song to the theme of whatever the theme is. And so this year we decided to have a caroling contest back home in my local church. And this would involve different churches throughout the island. And so I had to write that song, and I wrote Sweet Carol. Now, the thought behind Sweet Carol for me is, in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Christmas is epic. You think Christmas is epic all over the world? It's epic in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And I'm not exaggerating. This is something that we prepare for over the year, during the year, even in our baking. That's why there's a verse about baking. Even in our baking, we prepare our fruits and we set it up so that by December, it's well soaked in the wines and the rum. Yes, the rum. Well soaked and everything. So we prepare for Christmas. And not only that, because we're hot climate, at Christmas time, there's always a sweet breeze blowing, a cool breeze. So I just wanted to incorporate all the elements that we feel in St. Vincent and the Grenadines when that time of year comes around, Christmas time. I wanted to incorporate us, the Vincentian element, but with the message, the serious message of Christ in the end. He is the sweetest thing about Christmas, because sometimes, even though we have that culture, sometimes it can distort the message of Christ from it. And so I wanted to create this song, not only to show forth our culture and what we know as Vincentian, but to also bring that message of Christ. And that's how this song got started. That's how it got started.
I was going to ask you, in St. Vincent's, is there like a carnival, like a parade that happens during Christmas time? I'm sorry?
Thank you for asking. St. Vincent has the only festivities, Christmas celebration called 9 Morning. It's the only like it in the Caribbean.
Really?
It's the only type of celebration. You need to check it out.
What does it?
9 mornings and 9 nights. Now, 9 mornings, it's a cultural activity where everyone would gather. This is like 3 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock, 9 mornings before Christmas. Everyone would gather in this square, coming from the northern side, the southern side, the Grenadines, from all over to this square. And it would just culminate with so many cultural activities. 3 in the morning, people will be walking to the square. There's music, there's singing, there's games being played in the street, there's pan music, there are people who travel from all over the world to get into this activity. 9 mornings. And then we have the oldest garden in the Western Hemisphere called the Botanical Gardens. And now they've added that to our celebrations where we're lighting up the gardens. And different nights, we have different cultural events, whether drumming, dancing, bands, movie nights with your family, picnic, and enjoy. Christmas is the bomb. I honestly, yes, it's really, it's something that I think most should desire to experience.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think you definitely captured that in the song. You really did. Yeah. Well, how about this? Like, okay, so when you wrote this song, like obviously you were inspired by the culture, inspired by just the thought of, everything that happens in St. Vincent's, all the party. Like, was there any part of it that was hard to write, or was that just, it just came to you because it was just so natural?
Ooh, I would say, for instance, each section of the song, I really wanted to bring out something. I challenged myself with the second verse about I wanted to write a verse about baking. How am I gonna write a verse about baking? And so, and then to tie it in with the total message of the song. How could baking be tied in with God? You know? How can I do that? And I challenged myself in that verse. And you take the natural elements, you have your eggs, you're beating your eggs, you add in your different ingredients, your different spice and whatever. But you're not only doing that, because when we're baking at Christmas time back home, we're playing the music, we're celebrating while we're baking. And that was the whole thought about that. And I really wanted to challenge myself to write a verse like this. So this was a challenge for me. What you guys may not know is that this song has another verse.
Oh.
The song has another verse, and it has other elements to in it, because I wrote it for a group, and writing a song for an individual, to me, is different when you write for a group. And because I wrote for a group, I wanted other persons to be singing different things, while, that kind of effect, while some singing one thing, the others singing another. And so it have those elements. And then there's a kind of dramatic piece that is missing from the song that I was not able to incorporate in the recording, because I thought at the time, I don't think that I would have had the resources available back home to actually bring what my mind wanted to put forth in that verse. And can I share that with you?
Sure, you can.
All right. So the missing verse is a dramatic piece. When I wrote that part of the song, I wanted the group to be singing it and then abruptly kind of stop in this weird way. In St. Vincent, when Christmas is coming around, you keep hearing one set of songs over in the streets. Everywhere you go, there's music playing in the streets. And this one particular song by Dolly Parton would usually play throughout the streets. And so I wanted to just do a little play on it, because everybody would know. So I have also, I think I should mention that the main aim of this song was to highlight the sweetest carol, and that's Jesus. That was the main thing. But there, as I told you, there's a lot of the culture sometimes distorts the true meaning for the season. So with this part, there's a lot of different music being pushed in the airwaves, sort of drowning out the Christ out of Christmas. And so this verse was highlighting that fact, where it says, the kind of, and I have to use my patois, the kind of songs you hear them playing on the radio everywhere that you might go. Sometimes you wonder what I'm thinking. What am I playing on the radio? You understand? Songs about ham, because there's a lot of songs about what we eat, what we drink, what we doing, where we going, right? So songs about ham, parang, Santa looking a wife, all sorts of things, right? And then it broke into this song that everybody would hear, dawn is slowly breaking. And so because I wrote it for the group, it was supposed to be a dramatic kind of, what is she singing? And then we come back in, but we bring in, we caroling. You understand? Drowning out all the unnecessary or the noise that doesn't really, as Christians, we want that message of Christ. So drowning out all of that, we want to bring that sweetness, that real sweetness of Christmas. So that verse is what, that each verse really highlights a particular section or a particular element of Christmas in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. But the underlying fact is the sweetest carol is Jesus Christ.
Amen. Amen. Well, we're going to hear a sample of that song. And I just want to remind everybody, you are watching GMI Hub Online. We are meeting here with, this is our songwriter circle. You are just hearing a testimony from Stacey Little, who is a student at Canada Christian College. She wrote a song called Sweet Carol, which is included in our GMI Hub Family Christmas Album Vol.1. You want to get your copy at gmihub.bandcamp.com. But right now, let's see if we can get a little bit of a sample of if you want to feel a little warm this Christmas, you need to hear this song.
We have all the ingredients for the cake, the fruit done set. Man, everything is in the kitchen. It ain't have nothing we forget. We creaming, we butter beating, we egg showing, we spice sifting, we flour folding it nice. We adding, we adding, we adding, we adding. Sweet carol, sweet caroling, sweet carol, sweet caroling, sweet carol, sweet caroling, sweet carol, sweet caroling, sweet carol,
And
sweet
there it
caroling.
is. I just want to party every time I hear it. Oh my goodness, Stacey, thank you so much. Dale's still dancing.
I just love it.
It's such a fun song. Oh, it's such a fun song. Guys, if you really want to get a copy, like I said, go to gmihub.bandcamp.com and get your copy. It is such a fun song. And you know what? If winter in Canada, it's always cold. And it's so nice to hear a different perspective of what Christmas is like somewhere else and somewhere warm. So thank you, Stacey, for sharing that. Thank you so much. And you know, it was really interesting, Stacey, that last verse that you mentioned really spoke to the same thing that was in Michelle Sims' song. She wrote a song called It's Christmas, and it's so sweet, you know, and in there, the same thing that you were capturing in that I'll say the verse that didn't make it into the recording, it flew to her song, you know, because that was in her song. So Michelle, I don't want to steal your thunder here, but let's go to you. Let's tell your story and the story behind your song too.
Okay, well, I just looked it up, and I actually wrote it in 1996. I'm not sure whether Stacey was alive then or not, but
Yes.
but anyway, I was trying to remember how I wrote it, and I'm the kind of songwriter. I don't really have the craft of songwriting. If God requires me to write something, I just write it, and I get the lyrics, and I get the melody, and I play piano well enough to get the chords around it. So that's how I write. But I remember 1996 reminds me of the several years that I went down to Nashville every year, as primarily as a minister, just trying to really understand the whole industry so I could come back to Canada and help the artists up here, because really in the 90s everyone was pretty stilted and quite religious looking in their performance, and no one was really all that natural. So I had gone down there, I had done my first CD actually, and they were, I say this in complete humility, they were really, really good songs, and they were literally written by the Spirit of God, because again, I'm not really good at the craft of songwriting. And so, and I never really collaborate with anyone. My first CD I did a little bit, but like this song, for instance, it just came to me. The words just came to me. And I think what happened was I was like, you know, when you're in Nashville, it's extremely commercial, really, really commercial, because it's a business. It's big business. And so not so much anymore, but it was big business back then. And so I noticed the same thing Stacey was talking about. It was mostly just a lot of secular stuff. And so as a minister, I wrote something that really spoke about the real meaning of Christmas. And I'm just looking at the, actually, you really encouraged me, Stacey, get this thing printed off so you can remember the lyrics, because it's terrible. But the bridge, you know, peace and love and healing and salvation are the gifts the precious Christ child brings. No philosophy or principalities can remove our Christ from his throne. Woo! Woohoo! So it's Christmas, let's celebrate his truth in life. The word of God has come tonight. So it was an extremely scriptural carol. And I really thought it was good, and it is good. I took it back to Nashville the next year to show them, because they were looking for stuff, and they said, no, it's way too scriptural.
Really?
It doesn't have enough public appeal. So anyway, that's fine. I just write what God tells me to write. But I'd have to say, going back to the first question, how did I start in music? Like Stacey, I've been singing since I was a little girl. Never had any lessons or anything like that. And but I just love to sing, and I love to sing for the Lord, a worship pastor, all kinds of stuff over the years. But when I actually resigned from a position at quite a large church of about 500 people, one of the pastors, and I finished my first CD and knew that I was really called to help the Christian artist in a pastoral way, like just to really get to, the motivation behind why we're doing this. And I knew the dangers. I'd gone down to Nashville enough. I stood over the balcony of the hotel there and said, God, don't let this happen in Canada, because it was such a business thing that a lot of other things just didn't go right, if you know what I mean. And so pastorally, I really wanted to really mentor adults, not children like Stacey. Stacey, that's wonderful. But the adults who feel called to the music industry. And so I held many conferences, as you guys know, over the years, brought a lot of people up here, good people up here that could really help. And so that's kind of how I got into the music thing, the music culture, I guess you'd have to say, arts and entertainment culture. And so, I continue on in where anybody needs me. That's basically what I do. So sometimes it's music, I've got 30 years history in that, and so on and so forth. But the real miracle of this song in particular, actually the whole CD that this song is on, is the one of collaboration, which is exactly what you folks are doing. Because I'm the songs I get are really good, and I have to give all credit to God. My vocals are okay. I've got a good voice, natural harmonizer, not a great lead singer. And I'm a really poor musician. And so I needed to have collaboration, which was amazing. So the story behind this is, I got a comment the other day is, man, that production is amazing of this CD, of this song. And it is, and it wasn't me. So here I am. I grew up in like the 50s and the 60s, okay? And when I was a kid, I'd moved up north to Sundridge, Ontario. Some of you might know where that is, north of Huntsville. And I used to run home every day at 4 o'clock, and CBC had a TV show called Razzle Dazzle on. And the star of that show was a young girl. She's a year younger than me, a young girl called Michelle Finney. Now, when I grew up, there were no Michelles. Like, I mean, they couldn't even get my name, and they would call me Michael or something else. There was no Michelles. So she and I were the only Michelles that that I knew was called Michelle. So anyway, fast forward many years, Michelle Finney is now one of my best friends. How does that happen? It's just the Spirit of God. And so she ended up marrying, I did the wedding actually, a man called Danny Weiss, who is a brilliant genius musician, producer, genius. So if anybody of you worked with geniuses, you might know what I mean when I say genius. And anyway, Danny was a musical director on Bette Midler's The Rose. I mean, he's from LA, and he's absolutely brilliant. So I helped them a lot. As a pastor, I helped them a lot. And they ended up moving back to Canada, and they actually stayed and lived with us for about 7 months before they got into a house. So they became really good friends. So I think this was recorded maybe in 2005 or 2007. And I gave you know, I just got on the phone and sang to Danny the song, told him the key that I might like, and he did the whole arrangement and every instrument, and he's just brilliant. So it turned out amazing. The other thing, it was 2007, because I also had a heart ablation that year. I was up at the cottage trying to recover, and I wasn't very strong because my heart had been racing for several months, and I didn't even know how weakened I was actually. And so anyway, what happened was people came up north to visit me at the cottage. So Deborah Clausen came up, Carol Weicker came up, Mary Saxton Rush from BC came up. And so they ended up doing songs on that CD that I thought I was going to do on my own. So they ended up doing songs. So it became truly a compilation disc, but Danny did the music to all the songs. All the songs. And we had a bit of a contra deal going on, and I'm listening to this thing after and I'm going, God, how did I even get here? Like, how did I get to do this? Like, I am not like Stacey, this like really a mega talent or anything, you know? And it was just so awesome. So the other thing is the other collaboration, and this is maybe a little hint for people out there. The other collaboration was Danny did all the music independent of any of us doing vocals. Okay, just gave him keys. That's all. So he created these amazing, arrangements on the CD called It's Christmas. And then the person that has the studio in Sundridge is great with vocalists. Like, he's just really great with vocalists and could get the best out of all of us, you know. And so that's Carl Berry of Berry Patch Recording Studio up in Sundridge, a village of like 1,000 people. So we did all our vocals up there. And then, you know, through technology, which I know nothing about, as Cheryl's very aware of, they just all melded together, and it turned out really, really well. So this is even my suggestion for those of us that are not multi-talented in these areas. Like, just get the best from everybody, and watch who's producing your project, because you want yourself represented in the best way possible. And the Carl who did the vocals could just get the best out of everybody. He knew what I was capable of because I had done my other CDs up there, and the other singers that came in were way better singers than me. And it was just delightful. So he actually was delighted in being able to hear these vocals. He was so blessed himself. And so it was truly a collaboration. So that's the story. I have no idea why I wrote it. I think it was just kind of because I thought it would be a good challenge. That's it.
That's awesome.
To hear how the music came after the lyrics, and how you would, I mean, I listened to the song and I thought, wow, how that's a God thing. It's a total God thing, because I think it's amazing how that song and the lyrics really blend. Man, I can't believe that Dan wrote the music for that.
No, well, he wrote I wrote the melody though. So okay. I wrote the melody. No, I get the melody and the words. So everything just comes, honestly, any song I've ever written comes in 10 minutes. It just comes in 10 minutes. So he had that. And then Carl helped us do better, nicer phrasing. Produced us doing great harmonies and BGs and stuff like that. And I just trust these guys. Like, I trusted their expertise, you know. It was nice to work with people I could trust that had the same desire that I had, was to produce the best product we could, you know. So yeah, so he wrote the arrangement. He did the arrangement and all the instrumentation around the melody that I had written.
Right, the arrangement. Right. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. We have to get Donna Luisa on the show.
Well, you
awesome.
could.
Yeah.
I could probably arrange that.
Yeah. Yes.
But first, I would like to hear a sample of Michelle's song. It's a fantastic song. It is, what's the name of the call? It's
Christmas.
It's Christmas. That's what it was. Yeah.
It's Christmas It's Christmas. People rushing everywhere. Do they even really care? It's Christmas. Santa specials on the air. None of it just seems quite fair. For Jesus Christ is what it's all about. He came so we could have a brand new start. And we must never let the Christ be taken. Christmas. Jesus Christ is what it's all about.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. That is so, so beautiful. When I hear that song, I don't know if I see the twinkling lights or if I see the fireplace going, but it's just, but it is so beautiful to hear.
Yeah.
I know.
I can't even sing that well, I mean, really, it's amazing what the right producer, and I guess that's my point. It's really amazing what the right encouraging people can do for the rest of the body of Christ. It's like what Stacey's doing for the little ones. Like, we all have this holy responsibility to really help each of us be the very best that we can be. No competition.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And that's the absolute thing that the GMIHub is trying to do, is cultivate that community, the hermeneutic that helps each other, and the blending of each other's in their talents and skills to help each other.
Amen.
And that's what it should be about in the Christian faith, I believe.
Yes.
I was going to say, to support those statements, one of the scriptures that I usually fall back on is the scripture about unity, how blessed it is when brothers dwell together in unity. And I think of that because I go, we are Christians, we are gospel singers, we are gospel musicians, we are in the gospel, I'll say industry, the gospel scene. And yet, for some reason, where is that verse acted? And I love what you said, Michelle, that, finding people that are better than you, or that are better than you in areas that you may not feel strong in. But when you put all those talents together, it's like the body, different parts of the body working at their best to bring the best for the Lord. So I love what you said about that. That's awesome. And I love the fact that you're still a pastor for artists, because I'm sure there are lots of artists that are watching and going, oh, Pastor Michelle.
But Cheryl, the rest of that scripture, of course, is, there the Lord will command a blessing. So that is a very, very important thing. So we're not in unity because we better or else. If we want the blessing of God on what we're putting our hand to, we need to be walking in unity and not in a spirit of competition or jealousy. It's just a really stupid thing to do. I'll just say that, okay?
Yeah.
Amen.
Totally.
I'll say good word to that one. Right? I want to remind everybody once again, you are watching GMIHub. This is our songwriter circle, and we are meeting with artists that have contributed songs to the recently released GMIHub Family Christmas Vol.1 album, which is available on gmihub.bandcamp.com. Feel free to go and get your copy right there. And we've met with Stacey. We've met with Michelle, and you're sitting there going, well, isn't there anybody else that wrote songs? And actually there was. Our very own co-host, Dale Boreland. He actually, he wrote a song. And what you don't know about Dale is that he is a man of many talents. He's a songwriter, instrumentalist. He's a co-host, a radio host. He's, oh my gosh, what did I miss? A graphic artist. I can go on. Actor. He's got so much. He's like walking arts, and it's just, and I find I'm absolutely blessed to have him on a weekly basis, co-hosting with me, but now he is not going to he's going to take off the co-host hat. He's going to be the artist hat right now.
Let's do that right now. Okay, I'll take off my co-host hat. I'm going to put on my jingle bell hat. Because my song is called Come On, Ring Those Bells. So I got to get my hat with the jingle bells.
So Dale, I hope I didn't steal your thunder, but come on, tell us how you got in, tell us your story, how you got into the music scene and the everything else art scene. And then you got to tell us about Come On and Ring Those Bells.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I was born at a very young age. In North Ireland, and in North Ireland is part of the UK, and I sang at church at the age of 5, just like the other ladies did, in the church choir. When I was about 9, I moved to Canada, and so in Canada I was involved in teen choirs and things like that, and got asked to sing lead parts and all this. And I got my first drum set when I was 16. My mom blessed me with my first drum set. I played at school, trumpet, and I hated it. I played drums, a little bit of percussion at school, and then my mom got me my first drums at 16. I picked up the guitar just shortly after that, and I started leading worship at church for my youth group. I joined a few bands. I was a lead vocalist in some, I was a drummer in others, a few bands as a drummer. I recorded my own 3-song demo, and that was kind of a turning point for me because I started trying to figure out what music I liked. So then I got married, joined the mission field with my wife. We went and toured Europe, basically. We went to Germany, where we didn't go, UK, and I was playing in a worship band in England and in Germany. And then when I came back, I started getting to theater arts and drama, something I really had a passion for, and started being a stage manager, working behind the scenes as a light director. And I actually toured with the show, The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe. It was a lot of fun. Dennis Hassel was the writer for that. He's a phenomenal actor. And so I really enjoyed that. I got an agent and I started working with movies and stuff, working stage plays, musical theater. And all this time I was writing music. I wrote music since I was like 16, and just so then when I got a little older, in my 20, 40 something, anyway, I became a teacher. And as a teacher, I worked with special needs kids, behaviorally challenged children with special needs. And while there at that private school, I got a chance to stretch because they had seen my gifts and stuff. So that I was a music teacher, I was a drama teacher, and the arts teacher, because I do fine arts. So I had a chance to teach art class. So anyways, after that, doing theater at the same time, my schedule was very busy, but I got a chance to do radio. I was 18 and a half years in radio. And while I was doing radio, that was before I became a teacher. So I had that backwards, sorry. Okay, so after I became radio, I went to teaching. But anyways, in radio, 18 and a half years. When I was there, I had a chance to do voiceovers for commercials and radio spots and all that kind of stuff, which leads me to what I'm currently doing today. I'm working as a cartoon voiceover artist. I do that, and actually I'm in the middle of a project right now. We have to go into the studio and record. It's kind of different during COVID, so I have to try to do the voicing and send it to them on files. So it's going to be a new experience for me. So today I get to be on the leadership team of the GMIHub, the Gospel Music Industry Hub, and I am so blessed to be able to help other artists cultivate their calling to do what God has asked them to do. And doing this has been a lot of fun.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, it's a joy having you as part of the team. And let's talk about your song now. What inspired you outside of the challenge of actually writing the song? What inspired you to go to the angle of come on and ring those bells?
I think that the motivation was to get people to really profess Christ as Lord, and use this platform of Christmas to proclaim that. It was one of my favorite Christmas carol is Go Tell It in the Mountain. And even though it's not always considered a Christmas carol, it's the idea of professing the fact that Christ is born. And when you say it, it becomes like a church tower bell that's ringing out to the nations. That's the kind of where the idea was hinging on. I was trying to get that idea of we as believers who know Christ to be true. Let's let people know. And so there's so many different ways to do that. I didn't maybe explore the different ways of doing it in the song, but you may have an opportunity to just live your life for someone, to show them Christ by how you treat them. Like for instance, during COVID, maybe there's somebody in your neighborhood who you know is a shut-in. And if you're going to the grocery store, please knock on the door, say, hey, I'm going to the grocery store. Can I pick some bread up for you or some milk? Or even if you know that person's in need, buy some extra stuff and give it to them. There's so many opportunities to really ring that bell. But in the song in particular, it starts off with kind of like the presentation of, it's time to tell the story. So the idea of, we're starting this thing, one love born in his glory, and you're going on like this. And then it sets that pace of that day so many years ago. So I'm painting this picture of it happened back then. But in the second stanza, coming after the first verse, first chorus, it says, a child smiles on Christmas morning, a light twinkles showing the warning, celebrate the birth of the king. Now, that could be in the time of Christ where you see the baby smiling, or the double thing meaning this could be a child in modern time. A child smiles on Christmas morning, the light that twinkles showing the warning. It's the lights that are ordained by our Christmas decorations and celebration of Christ the King. So there's a double meaning to that verse. But the whole concept of the song was just a proclamation to encourage believers to profess Christ's birth and let the world know. Beautiful,
Beautiful. And you're right. It is a proclamation. And when we do proclaim Christ, it's like, yeah, we are ringing bells. I thought of it as, when I hear it, I think of celebrating. I think, with Stacey's, I dance, with Michelle's, I float, with yours, it's kind of like, it's time to celebrate, kind of idea. So that is awesome. I want to hear a sample of this. And I'm sitting there going, was any part of that when you were writing it difficult to write?
Yeah, the concept of the song, I played with the concept of having it a hip hop feel. I know that's kind of weird. Some people are thinking, what? But I love hip hop music so much. I love the hip hop culture, and I wanted to do that, but it didn't work with the song. So I changed gears, and the song melody, I have my piano, I have my guitar, I have my drum. I'm all like set up that way, but I had to strip away everything, and it became a simple chord progression. And I built the music based more on a vocal. If you have a chance to hear the whole song, you'll hear it doesn't really build. Even in the first chorus, it's held back, and then the second chorus is fuller, and then there's this like a connection bridge. It's not really a bridge, and then it goes into a full blown. So there's a build, and but it has a certain pop music feel. I wanted to put a female vocal in the background, but it didn't work out, so I ended up singing the harmonies myself. And producing the song myself, it was so hard. During COVID, I produced this, and it was like I could not connect. I've had so many people that are involved in production, and I just could not get one person to lock down and help me with the song. So it's not exactly the way my mind was when I wrote it, but it turned into something that was what it is, and I have some amazing contacts of people that could have taken it to a better place. I know that to be true, but the song went through major changes. I even had a rap in the bridge, and it was pulled out. And Cheryl heard the original, but I got some feedback from some musicians who I trust, and some of those producers as well who are friends of mine, and some musicians that I know, and they gave me some little critiques here and there. And even on our panel of our leadership team here at GMIHub, there's all I respect that as a sounding board. Because I think in compilation or in cooperation with other people you can trust, the song can go from something that it is to something that it, better. That's just my personal opinion, and not everybody shares that. But so there is a select few friends that you may have that you can trust with their feedback, and aside from that, the song ended up being better. It's not, again, it's produced by myself, so it could have been even better still. But I'm happy to say that it's okay.
Well, and probably when someone hears this and say, I want to reduce this, I want to do this better, if you had a chance, but you're saying if there was no limitations, would you want to reproduce this song again?
No, I think what I would do is I would just write a new one. I think it's like a painting. To me, I'm an artist who I like to draw and paint and sketch. Once you've done a song or done a picture, a painting, and it's finished, you kind of step back and you look at it and you go, okay, I'm done with that one. Now it's time for a new canvas. For me, that's I would start a new song or even a whole project, a CD with Christmas songs. If I was going to do that, I like the song, and yeah, it could have been different, could have been better, but it's done. It is the way it is.
That's awesome. Well, we are going to hear a sample of this song called Come On and Ring Those Bells.
Come on and ring. Come on and ring those bells. 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 Come on and ring those bells.
And there it is. There it is. Come on and ring those bells. I was doing my little jig, with that.
I have one quick question, Dale.
Hi, Michelle.
That real high harmony at the very end, going behind, did you do that?
I did all the vocals. Yeah,
Nice. Very
thank
nice.
you.
Yeah.
I have almost a 4-octave range, and whenever it comes to harder rock music, that was where I really felt comfortable. This song was a little different, so I had to soften the tone, and vocally it wasn't a challenge, but it was different for me.
Well, you sounded like a real hot girl there, okay? It was really cool. I liked it. Yeah, I've got about a 3-octave range, but I do black out sometimes when I try to do it. Okay, just saying.
Well, the thing is, I was in the studio doing my demo. Now, back then I had even a better range, and I had a song that I had a female vocalist to do some of the backup, and I was singing the harmonies that I wanted her to sing. And she said,
Right.
Why didn't you just sing it? And I said, because I want a girl's voice. So.
And then she said, you got a girl's voice. You got it all. You're a great vocalist, Dale. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, all the songs are fabulous, and I know that we've had other songwriter circles, and you've met some of the artists that are on there. But if you want to hear again this particular CD, to hear It's Christmas, Come On Ring the Bells, Sweet Carolyn, or any of the other songs that are on there, please go to gmihub.bandcamp.com and get your copy. You're able to listen to it right on Bandcamp, but feel free to get your copy. And even if you want, it's Christmas time, feel free to download a copy for a friend and have them listen. Like, bring back the joy, especially now with it being COVID. A lot of people have been kind of stuck at home. Even where we're living, there's shutdowns again, and it's been a hard season. But we are so thankful that even during this hard season, we were able to collaborate, so to speak, with other artists, not so much with one particular song, but having these artists come together to bring their songs together and put it on this particular project. So if nothing else, get the album so that you can be encouraged, or that someone else that you know can be encouraged. And if nothing else as well, support these artists. I mean, they have given a part of them, a piece of them in the midst of dark times, to shed some light in your time and your life as well. So thank you so much, Michelle and Stacey and Dale, of course. Thank you so much for being here today and sharing your story and sharing your songs. And thank you, audience, for being with us. I hope you enjoyed this. I would say this to you as well. Do not forget that GMIHub encourages unity, community, mentorship, and talent growth. And if you want any more information about us, feel free to go to our website, gospelmusicindustryhub.com. And of course, we webcast on YouTube every Monday. So if you want to know what's happening, feel free to subscribe, ring the bell so you can get notified about all the great videos that are coming here. But until then, we want to say good night. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for joining us. God bless you all.
Thank you.
Got my hat back.